Yo, I am playing every situation in my head. Scenarios where she's not going to find out. And in almost every scenario, it was always the same outcome. I was
That's what deleted.
Break.
What is a near-death experience? A near-death experience, everybody of every color and shape, is an unusual experience taking place on the brink of death and recounted by a person after recovery, typically an out-of-body experience or a vision of a tunnel of light. Unfortunately for my black behind, I didn't experience none of that. You know, up until this point of my life, everything's been good. Despite of all the whoopings I received from my mother, I can testify that life's been good for me as a child, because I knew the position I was in. Looking back at my life now, I am grateful that my life unrolled the way it did, because I knew there's a lot of kids my age didn't have the same opportunities that I had back then. I didn't have to worry about food, clothes, shelter, money. All of that was provided for me by my parents. In other words, I didn't have to deal with the hardships of life and the sentiments that came with it. You know, the anxiety, the fear, all the rest. But all of that would change on that day, because that day marks one of the most terrifying moments of my life. If you're new to the channel, like the video and turn on notification bell, you know what I'm saying? But if you're a returning subscriber, this is part 2 from a previous video, that one specifically. If you haven't watched it yet, pause this video, go watch it so you can get the full context of what's about to go down. Or if you're like me and you're impatient, I'll give you a quick summary of what happened. Buckle up. In the last video, I transferred from a private school to a public school, which was technically a private school also, but with less restriction. At first, I didn't quite fit in with the other kids, but as time went on, I learned how to adapt. I did very good in this class. You know, I had good grades, I did all my homework, I was respectful to my peers and my teacher. One day, however, we stumbled upon a poem and the teacher assigned us to study the poem for the next morning. Here is the problem though. I did not like studying, okay? And the fact that the poem was 14 lines long gave me more reason not to study it in the first place. So I was praying that he doesn't go through with this idea. And furthermore, whenever the teacher assigns an assignment, he writes it on the board and we the students, we copy it down. Well, on that day, he didn't write the poem on the board. So I assumed it wasn't a real assignment. Thus, I didn't study it. Or maybe I just used that as an excuse to not study it. Who knows? Big mistake, because on the next day, however, he asked everybody to line up and recite the poem. I'll let you imagine the terror I felt that day. Go ahead, take a second. I was trembling in fear, but I wouldn't be telling this story if things didn't get worse. There were students that knew the poem, well, portions of it, and as a punishment, the teacher told them to copy the poem X amount of times. And me not knowing anything about the poem didn't make the situation any better. You clearly saw I did not know shit about this poem. I was fresh meat. Since you don't know nothing about this piece of literature, not even the title of the poem, copy it for me 20 times and have your parents sign it for tomorrow, please and thank you. Did I just hear 20 as in 20? No, he is tripping. And remember, I'm still in class. I'm still trying to fit in with these other kids, so I had to look the part because they look unbothered by this punishment, like it was breakfast for them. So I made a poker face. I was nonchalant, or I acted nonchalant as if nothing bothered me, but on the inside, it was a different story. Time slowed down. Seconds felt like minutes, and minutes felt like hours. I was sweating. My vision was blurry. Millions of thoughts raced my mind. These thoughts almost made me puke. I am having an eternal panic attack, to say the least. Have y'all never been this stressed before? Let me know down in the comments below what was the most stressful time of your life. This moment right there shattered my whole reality on life. And in that moment, for a quick second, I saw a bright light and I knew what was coming next. And all of that was happening in silence. Obviously, I wasn't okay. The thought of me writing this poem gave me a fever. I had never been in a situation where I had to copy lines. I mean, I've heard of people, students in particular, copying lines, but not me. Please, please. Bro, I thought I was a good kid. I thought things like this will never happen to me. It was a full-blown poem. 14 lines, my G. 14 lines. I am going to die. And he said 20 times, bro. 20 times. How cruel can you be? And last but certainly not least, her.
Who? The singer?
No, not her. Her! And it's not like she wasn't going to find out. He clearly wrote down, have your parents sign it by tomorrow. And on top of that, I also have homework to do. Yo, I am playing every situation in my head. Scenarios where she's not going to find out. And in almost every scenario, it was always the same outcome. I was It is now nighttime, 11 p.m. to be exact, and I am copying the lines. Now you might be asking,
but wait, where was your mom this whole time?
bro, I don't know. She probably had to stay late for work, or she went to some bar after work with her friends, or she had an emergency. Bro, I don't know, man. However, though, I will admit it was very unusual for her to stay this late. She's usually home by 5-6 p.m. But whatever the reason was, man, I had to use her absence. I had to use this opportunity to my advantage, because the last thing I need is my mother coming home, finding me copying lines while everybody else is asleep.
What is this?
The whole class had to, and yeah.
Don't ever do this again. I'll sign it tomorrow morning.
Bro, I escaped death that day, fam. I don't know if it was because she was too tired from work, or was it the fact that I told her the whole class got the same punishment? What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments below. And you know what's funny? From copying this poem 20 times, I actually memorized it from top to bottom. 14 lines. I mean, don't ask me about it now because I don't remember what it's about. But yeah, the next day my mom signed the poem like she said she would, and I gave it back to my teacher, and everything was all good. From that day, I never missed one of his assignments. I learned my lesson. Yeah, man, that's the story of the night I almost died. Like, share, and subscribe. I love you. Bye.
That's what the